obviously there's no one person that's responsible for the destruction of Call of Duty. There's not one person that's pulling pins out and just making the whole thing crumble. That fun and that magic just feels like it's gone completely from COD right now. What's going on, everybody? My name is Alex. Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be reacting to an Optimus video that came out a couple days ago talking about a dev Twitter spat with a Call of Duty fan. It was a pretty interesting tweet interaction, if I say so myself, and honestly I don't even know what to think about this franchise anymore. I'm at a loss for words at this point. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoy the video. If you like what you see, make sure to hit that like button, and if you love what you see, hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next stream or video. Peace out, everybody. All right, so this is Optimus. Optimus is a big commentator. A few months ago, he made a video talking about how bad Vanguard was and how he was very unhappy with the way that they were taking the franchise and everything like that. I was going to comment on that video, but I didn't really feel like it was that important to talk about because mostly everybody has kind of already said everything that there is to say. But I thought that this video was a lot more succinct about what's going on in the COD community and just how awful everything has gotten. I mean, this is absolutely crazy what you're about to see. If you haven't seen this, this is insane.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today I want to make a video addressing the Call of Duty developers at Sledgehammer Games, and realistically, I guess pretty much all game developers, because I don't really think that this is a good situation, like in terms of PR. I don't think this is a very good way to handle people talking badly about your product, people talking bad about your game, and I think that this is just more or less a most recent chapter in a long-going story of Sledgehammer Games being more or less out of touch, and realistically the whole Call of Duty developer community being out of touch. Now, before we
see, all right, so he kind of makes that blanket statement, like saying that the whole entire Call of Duty developer community is out of touch. I don't think all of them are, but I think the ones that are in the Twitterverse can be, and for whatever reason, Sledgehammer just seems to be the worst about it. I don't get why. And it's like they don't have any room to talk or any legs to stand on because they don't do a good job of making Call of Duties. Each one has been worse than the last. There are elements that were good about it, and I used to give them the benefit of the doubt because I liked that they made zombies. Sledgehammer has just gotten worse and worse as time has gone on, and it's quite sad.
We even get into like today's video, right? I want to remind you guys of the situation that unfolded back in Call of Duty World War II with the then head of Sledgehammer Games, Michael Condrey, and a YouTuber by the name of OMG It's Birdman. Now, you probably know.
Now, I didn't even know this.
Commentary community. I know we have a lot of like similar audiences.
I had never heard about this before until this video.
You sound like Birdman or something like that. But Birdman basically got into like a public Twitter beef with Michael Condrey, and it made Sledgehammer look like shit when this happened. It kind of reminds me of that situation.
This is way worse than that.
Because it really just shows that COD developers are truly out of touch with their product, and they complain. This
is way worse than arguing about a game mode, because this is Sledgehammer not realizing how bad their game is and then yelling at fans about it.
At like the slightest fucking like aggression, quote unquote, from the community, like someone will tell them that Call of Duty shit, and these developers like get a fucking wedgie or something over it, you know? They just get so fucking upset at the idea of someone saying that, right? So I wanted to show you guys this and kind of talk about it because I really think that this is a problem in the Call of Duty franchise. These developers, they don't listen to community feedback, they fuck up the game, they just completely destroy the product that people care about and paid for. Then when they get mean...
So, I don't know if that's entirely true. I do think devs listen to feedback. I do. But I think that there's a balance that we don't fully understand as fans. And I do think they need to listen to fans a little bit more. But they have their own internal data. They have limitations with technology. Then they have fan input, casual fan input, hardcore fan input. Then they have their shareholders to please. Then they have their own vision to execute, plus their boss's vision. It's a complicated venture. Like, I'm not even going to pretend that it's not. But fans have been asking for them to like fix certain things or to not do certain things, and like and they've been vocal about so much, and then it's just like nothing happens. And it's weird because I feel like this is strictly a multiplayer thing, because zombies, it feels like it's the same, but people loved Cold War zombies, and zombies always has some form of a hardcore fan base, whether we want to admit it or not.
Comments on Twitter and like people shit on them, they just act completely stunned and surprised. Now, I'm not here to like justify some of the things that people do. I mean, there's people who send these fucking developers death threats.
Yeah, we don't want to do
like that.
That's lame.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. But the idea that people are getting so upset at hearing that Call of Duty's total shit, that we're fucking subtweeting random accounts on Twitter and getting a bunch of the staff in on it and stuff, it not only looks pathetic, they're not actually addressing anything that the community has to say, and it really just serves to piss people off a little bit more, I feel like. So
yeah,
keep in mind, I don't
definitely
know any of these employees that we're about to show here. I have no fucking clue who these people are.
I am too, Blondie.
This is the new Sledgehammer staff and whatever here. But anyway, so that's why COD is total shit.
All right, so here, Darcy Sandell, I'm not sure. I don't know who this is. Sorry, y'all, but I'm apparently solely responsible for the quality of Call of Duty now. So that's why COD's total shit. That's the tweet. I don't know if it's a reply to Darcy saying something else, or if he just looked at her timeline and thought she was stupid and tweeted at her. I don't know the context of the tweet. This is not the problem, really, but, well, it is and it isn't. This isn't like that big of a statement to make, but once you realize what her job is, it's actually quite ironic.
And she responds, sorry y'all, but apparently I'm solely responsible for the quality of Call of Duty now. So to give you a little backstory here, Darcy is actually the senior software engineer at Sledgehammer Games.
She's the senior software engineer at Sledgehammer Games, and she doesn't seem to understand that she actually is responsible for the downgrade in quality with Call of Duty. When Modern Warfare 2019 came out, they rebuilt that whole engine, came up with all these amazing animations, and then Black Ops Cold War came out, which was an iteration of a previous Infinity Ward engine. They made their own game, and then Sledgehammer couldn't, it was supposed to be their year. They couldn't finish what they wanted to do, or they couldn't get it done. And then they had to pivot to World War II. And they couldn't even do that 100% by creating like a new version of the Modern Warfare 2019 engine. Like, they couldn't even do that. She is a senior software engineer. She is a senior level associate. She's obviously, there's no one person that's responsible for the destruction of Call of Duty. There's not one person that's like just pulling pins out and just making the whole thing crumble. But there are senior executives and senior software designers and level designers and leaders of teams that are essentially steering the ship or in charge of a department, which is a very pivotal position. So yes, in a way, she is responsible for the downgrade of Call of Duty. Not solely, but she is more than partly responsible for it. And I would probably, not even Call of Duty, but her particular game.
Which I would say is a pretty important role. You know what I mean? You're the senior software engineer at a AAA game studio. Unfortunately, when you're in a position like that, a lot of issues are gonna fall back on you because you have seniority.
She's the leader.
You're the, I guess, head honcho.
Like, if you work in retail, right? And there's a manager of a store, and he has like a team of 4 people. He has like leader of the department of sweaters, and then another person is in the jeans department, the other person's in the footwear department, and the other person's in the jewelry or accessories department. Well, you're in charge of that particular department. If sales are down in shoes, or you're not, you know, meeting up with the standards of advertising or product management, yeah, I mean, you're not solely responsible for the downgrading and the destruction of that store. You are definitely complicit. Like, you're definitely part of the problem. If you are the senior manager of, like, you know, of the jeans department at Target,
unquote, of that department. I know that sounds goofy, but yes, you're gonna be the one who catches the flack. You're the one who's gonna be catching those comments, especially when people don't like the game that's currently out, right?
Because the game's
according to
just
her
bad.
Twitter bio here, has worked on both Call of Duty Vanguard and Black Ops Cold War, which I think, at least to me, indicates why this is such a big deal, right? So if you played either of these Call of Duties, I would say these are the 2 most underwhelming Call of Duties that have come.
I disagree with that statement. I don't think that Cold War was one of the most underwhelming Call of Duties that we've had. It was a weird situation because Treyarch had to like step up and take over, and there was COVID, so it was a weird time. And that's actually kind of an interesting thing, is if she is a senior, and there's other devs in this video too, don't get me wrong, but if she is a senior level engineer or a senior software engineer, Cold War was a pretty solid game. Like, the software in the engine was was great. So, but it's just weird how they did such a above average job with Cold War, but then such a terrible job with Vanguard. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know enough of like behind the scenes stuff to understand like how it could go from doing a pretty average good job to just subpar for this particular iteration of COD.
I think these are the two worst CODs that we've gotten in at least half a decade, and they've came back to back. So when you see that kind of message being sent, I guess, that these are the two games you've worked on, it doesn't give me a lot of hope, to be honest. But let's go.
I mean, that's a fair assessment. I don't agree with it, but it's fair.
For the decline of Call of Duty, right? It's not like in 2013 when COD really started going downhill that like Darcy was at blame for all of it, right?
Yeah,
what this
of course
basically is a cop-out, right? So this person says, oh, that's why COD fucking sucks now. So their point is Call of Duty is shit now, and I guess it's your fault, which it is partially your fault because you're working on the game and you have
exactly
like, the powerful position, I would say.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, if you're a leader of any, it's the same thing if you're a parent or you own pets or like whatever it is about in your life. If your kid is suffering or your pet is suffering or your job is suffering, like you're in charge of things. The responsibility falls back on you. But she is just one of many leaders, and maybe they just have poor leadership, or maybe there's just some stressful stuff over there. That's why it's so complicated. There's so many facets. There's like at least 10 or so big moving parts, like I said. Plus the devs having issues at home or with their family. There was COVID, there's management, there's investors, the fans. There's so many levels to this that I don't envy them. Like, even though she is partially responsible and a little more responsible than normal than the average dev, I still empathize with how difficult it must be.
Sledgehammer, I mean, you're not the fucking owner of the studio, but I mean, you're a senior software engineer. That's a pretty important job title, right? So yes, you are.
I don't think COD multiplayer will ever be fixed. I genuinely don't. I do believe zombies is going to have a renaissance period. Yeah, and that's the other thing that annoys me about these senior devs that we're going to hear more from in a second. They're all leaders and they're all acting like little whiny babies. And it's like, you should be a leader and be like, you know what, we fucked up. Our bad. We're trying our best to make it work. We're working like 15-hour days, but it's like, I don't even think they're like working because there's no content to be had. There's like no content being pushed out. I saw some tweets recently saying that, you know, devs were working 15-hour days during Cold War, which I don't disagree. They probably were, but they were actually putting out a lot of content in Cold War. It took a while for them to catch up, but Vanguard, they're just extending everything. They launched the game broken, but they've delayed both season 2 and season 3 by a month and a half total. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell's going on over there.
Partially to blame for it. Fully, absolutely not. But this is when the other Sledgehammer employees decide that they're going to start jumping in one by one to start talking.
It'll happen, Blondie. It'll happen.
Call of Duty. So I worked on Vanguard. I had to have helped ruin COD 2, says.
Yes, you technically did.
Ben Coleman, who, by the way, is a senior level designer. And me, I also helped ruin COD. Don't hog all the credit. Well,
yes, if you made a bad thing with your team, you helped make the thing bad. It's not that complicated.
John, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys all equal credit on destroying the recent fucking Call of Duty game, and realistically, why Sledgehammer has such a bad reputation. This is part of it right here. This is part of the reason, in my opinion, why Sledgehammer has a shitty reputation in the COD community.
There was once a time when I wanted to be like a YouTuber and get like invited out by the devs to the studio to like see the game and see how the cheese is made and like be a part of the, like, I don't know, the fold. There was a time when I wanted that. I don't really care about like getting invited by Activision or Microsoft or Treyarch or Infinity Ward or Sledgehammer. That fun and that magic just feels like it's gone completely from COD right now. I think we need more transparency.
COD. So, you know, they've been supporting developers on a bunch of different CODs back to like MW3. They're fine at that role, in my opinion. Like when they're working on someone else's game to help prop it up, they kind of can handle their job. But they've now released 3 main Call of Duty titles.
Yeah.
COD, Advanced Warfare.
That's a very interesting point. He talks about how Sledgehammer's a great support studio, but they're a shit lead studio.
Which has been one of the most hated CODs because it had an...
I think they will do something about this, Blondie. I do think they will.
Which is once again one of the most underwhelming COD games.
But it's going to take a few years.
And it took like 6 months to become even a remotely polished game whatsoever. And then now Call of Duty Vanguard, which is known for its disappointing sales figures and player counts and many many of the player base of the Call of Duty franchise just outright doesn't like this game. So there are
no one likes this game.
1 for 3 on COD
Multiplayer
games.
is okay for like 15 minutes.
I mean, I wasn't a fan of Exo Movement, but for what that game's purpose was, I thought it was okay. I don't really want to count World War II as a win because it took them half the development cycle to make it a playable game. And Vanguard, in my opinion, just isn't.
But it's been taking half the development cycle for everything to become a playable game since basically, well, since World War II. World War II took a while for it to become playable. Black Ops 4 was broken at launch. It was crashing for everybody. Blackout was in beta up until July of 2019. Modern Warfare 2019 was a broken mess for a while. Black Ops Cold War was empty as hell for about 6 months. And now this game is even beyond empty. It's like going into a grocery store in America right now with the supply chain. It's like there's just nothing there.
Good, right? Like it sucks. It's just,
well, because they have, oh no, I mean, I hate it too, Blondie, but it's because they have shareholders and they're like, oh, well, we can just release it and then we can patch it later. But it's like they just keep delaying their patches. So it's like, oh, okay, delay your patches, delay season 2, delay season 3, but you know, let's launch the game. Modern gaming, the Axeman says.
Mediocre at best, right? Like it's a complete 5 out of 10 if I've ever seen one. It's better than a free-to-play first-person shooter on your phone, but it's not even as good as like the top 8 CODs. So all of these developers jump at the idea of getting this person on Twitter. You know, we gotta own on them like, oh, you know, this idiot thinks we're fucking responsible for the game sucking, right? Well, the problem with that is, yes, you all are at fault for the game sucking. Not individually altogether, but your studio is at fault for it. And all of these people have senior jobs.
Yeah,
John
exactly.
is a senior artist. Ben is a senior level designer.
100%.
And Darcy is the senior product engineer or whatever, right? So
And what's weird about it is that means that they've been there for a long time. Becoming a senior engineer or a senior level designer or a senior software designer or engineer or whatever, that means you've had to put in time. So it's like, what the hell happened? Were they working on Black Ops 1 and like got promoted through the ranks and didn't learn anything? Is this like a new vision they have? Like, what is happening?
Ironic that perhaps the 3 biggest people talking about this also have seniority in 3 of the game's biggest issues, right? So Ben, let me tell you how you fucked up COD. The maps in this game suck, okay? they just suck. Sledgehammer makes some of the worst Call of Duty maps I've ever fucking seen. And I don't even feel like that's a controversial opinion. I mean, think of all of the—
I love that he was just like, Ben, let me tell you how you fucked up. That's so funny.
Maps in Call of Duty history. There may not be one single map that has come from Sledgehammer that you can count as a genuine classic COD map.
You know what's funny is the only map that I can think of that I liked from Sledgehammer was a beach thing where they had like toy soldiers and like it was from World War II, and then Shipment, but Shipment is Infinity Wars and they just poured it into Sledgehammer games all the time. Oh no, Ardennes Forest. I liked Ardennes Forest, that snow map in World War II.
Got what, London Docks? Honestly, what else?
Yeah,
is
London
there,
Docks,
right?
but that's the
Like,
same
I
thing
can't
as
think of
Ardennes
one.
Forest.
Let's move on here to John. Yes, you also are responsible for fucking the game up. This game, you know, it graphically is impressive because I think of the engine upgrades and changes that they've been making for COD over the last few years. But
Is
let's
it,
not
though?
pretend like this game isn't the most bland pile of shit ever.
I think the art direction is awful.
I get it. It's a World War II
Like,
game. I'm not
let me just show you guys this image really quick. I just noticed this the other day. The way they've made her like body posture, she looks like this weird like goofy. She doesn't look badass at all. She has this like goofy ass posture. They don't make her look like a badass soldier at all. She just looks like this goofy ass nerd. I'm like, that's so weird. Like, don't you want your characters to look cool and like a soldier and shit? And they just make them look all goofy and weird. The art direction is absolutely terrible in this game, especially the stuff they did with Attack on Titan. Like, what the hell is all that? Like, the art direction in this game looks better than Vanguard. But the thing is, Jeremy, they're not even putting out quantity. They're putting out less than they ever have, and they're doing it at a worse way, in a worse rate than they ever have.
Power up in terms of color, but like, come on, man, does everything have to look like actual fecal matter? The game is gray at best. you know? Like, I feel colorblind when I'm playing this shit. So I just find it ironic that the 3 employees that we cover here all have seniority in 3 of the game's biggest issues, and they're upset that people are calling COD shit. Now let me explain why this is a problem.
That's so funny.
Well, first and foremost, Sledgehammer has had a history of this kind of behavior, right? They've had Michael Condrey do it with YouTubers. They've had now instances like this where these employees are just mad over some 8-follower account on Twitter telling them the game fucking sucks.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's not like Noah J456 is doing it. It's some fucking random person.
And the reason this matters is because Sledgehammer isn't doing anything to actually make this game better. So from my understanding of it, and I don't play Vanguard anymore, so I guess I don't have the first-person experience here to verify this, but from what I've heard, the most recent patch update notes went out a few days ago, and they pushed the update out live alongside the patch notes, right? So you could read what they fixed in the game, what they changed. Well, Sledgehammer is such an incompetent studio that apparently some of the bug fixes and the issues that they put in the patch notes that they said they fixed didn't even get pushed out live. So they literally told people that they updated shit that they didn't.
That's why Sledgehammer annoys me. They do this crap all the time. They say they updated something. They say they patched something, and then they didn't actually do it, or they didn't send it through. It was like, I was working on a video for a client a couple weeks ago, and I spelled instructions wrong in one paragraph, and then I copied and pasted that paragraph on multiple things because like I was reusing that text. And I have to watch the video back a lot, and I have to put it in a low resolution so my computer can play all the graphics and shit that I made. So text is always blurry on my screen. So I didn't check to see if I spelled everything correctly like a moron. And then I sent it to the client and I was like, all right, I'm done. And they were like, bro, you like spelled instruction wrong on 5 different slides. And I was like, oh shit. And I knew why, because like I had to make sure that the frame rate was running, the graphics were running, all the animations were moving smoothly, and I put spelling last. And it was like just a quick typo that turned into just a careless mistake. And it's like, okay, well, I learned for next time. But it's like, they're not even learning for next time.
I don't know, they forgot to update the fucking game fully because they forgot to put some of the updates into the fucking game. Yeah, these are the people who are mad that you call COD shit on Twitter, right? Like, these are the people who, when they see a fucking 8-follower account on Twitter say their game sucks, are like, oh, how could I fuck up COD more, guys? Duh. I worked on Vanguard. I had to help ruin the game. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did help ruin it.
You did.
It's not a coincidence that Vanguard's like sales and everything were actually disappointing to Activision. There's no coincidence that the vast majority of it's not a coincidence that the majority of COD players on like Twitter, like that talk about the game, to me at least, all have negative perceptions of the game. It's not a fucking coincidence.
Yeah, it's just not a good game, and that's okay.
On Twitter and like trying to own these fucking randos that are tweeting to you that your game sucks, maybe actually listen to user feedback and make a good game. Like, I think that that's a very possible opportunity. I don't see why that is like a controversial statement to these people, you know? And I get it, right? Like, this
it shouldn't be.
COD is total shit now. They didn't really give any constructive criticism, right?
True,
they didn't tell you anything you could fix with the game. But YouTubers like me have been doing this for years and getting fucking ignored, right? Like, Call of Duty will fly out the people who suck the game's...
Yeah, so this is like a double-edged sword because, like, I do think that they need to listen to more stuff that we talk about, but at the same time, it's like, YouTube seems like it's a pretty big part of it, but then they act like we're just some, like, vocal minority, so I don't really get it.
Because, you know, either the developers don't listen to you. This is... fuck it, I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. This is the COD developer / creator cycle. Creator makes videos talking about how Call of Duty can be positively changed. Developing studios and Activision don't pay attention and don't listen and continue to fuck the game up. Creators increasingly get aggravated and start being meaner to the developers, and fans included. Then when people lash out at the developers for making shitty products, like in YouTube videos or in tweets, all of a sudden, oh, why are we getting so much hate? Apparently we're responsible for Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's something that's very, very annoying, is that these developers are like, why are you yelling at us? We're just trying to do our best. It's like, bro, we have been telling you for fucking years that you are making mistakes and going the wrong direction with the franchise, but you don't fucking care. And now we're fed up and you're fed up with us. It's like, we might as well just cut ties.
Rando McForeskin over here from Twitter.
Rando McForeskin.
Game, right? Y'all are the ones making the game. Y'all are the ones working on the product. product. I don't think it's controversial to say, yes, you are partially responsible for the game.
It's not controversial, Optimus. Get him, girl!
Fucking title come out.
You get him!
Arguments with people on Twitter as a staff instead of just listening to community feedback. It makes your studio look shittier. It makes you guys look worse. And I'm not here to dogpile and say these developers are horrible and deserve fired or they're bad people, but it's like, dude, people make plenty of good points against you guys all the time.
Oh yeah.
If you're not gonna listen to those and respond to them, then why do you give a fuck about this? I don't know, man. It just doesn't.
That's a very great point. It's like, why are they paying attention to all these negative comments rather than actually paying attention to the comments that are constructive or kind? That's why I like Kevin Drew, because Kevin Drew actually responds to people and tells people what's going on. I wish they were more transparent. I want to make a video about that eventually, but for now, I think that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching the reaction to Optimus's video. If you liked what you saw, make sure to hit that like button, and if you loved it, hit that subscribe button, and if you didn't like it, well, you know what that other button does. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.